EFCC uncovers connection between religious sect laundering money for terrorists. Supreme Court affirms Fintiri's election as Adamawa governor. Fire guts household of David Church in Lagos. And on the foreign scene, Liberia President Buhari to begin investigations into public spending by George Weah's government. Thank you for joining the news update on Trust TV. I'm Sakir Ibrahim. Many thanks for joining us once again. Now the news in full. The chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Ola Olukoyede, has revealed that the anti-graft agency uncovered how a religious sect in Nigeria is laundering money for terrorists. He also revealed that another religious body was found to be protecting a money launderer after some money suspected to have been laundered was traced to the organization's bank account. The EFCC boss made the revelation on Wednesday at the Musa Iradua Center, Abuja, during a one-day dialogue on youth, religion, and the fight against corruption. He noted that religious organizations, institutions, sects, and bodies have been found culpable of money laundering. And operatives of the Joint Task Force Northwest Operation Hadirin Daji have rescued 20 kidnapped victims in Zamfara State. 18 kidnapped victims comprising 4 males, 14 females were rescued along Zurmi and Birnin Magaji local governments, while 2 others along Shinkafi Isa Road. A statement issued by Captain Yahya Ibrahim, the information officer of the Operation Hadirin Daji, also revealed that a terrorist kingpin, Sinaje, was neutralized by the operatives during a clearance operation at bandits' hideouts across the state. According to the statement, the kidnapped victims were rescued by the soldiers on the 29th January 2024 during a clearance operation at terrorist enclaves at Rukudawa, Dumburum, Tanu, Birnin Taba, Magare and Shamushalle general areas of Zurmi and Birnin Magaji local government areas of Zamfara State. Captain Ibrahim added that all the rescued victims were handed over to the appropriate authorities with a view to returning them to their families. Also, troops of the 114 Battalion of the 6th Brigade Nigerian Army have rescued 3 kidnapped victims from bandits in Taraba State. The Acting Assistant Director, Army Public Relations, 6th Brigade, Lieutenant Olubodundeoni, disclosed this in a statement on Tuesday in Jalingo. The statement said that the troops acted on intelligence regarding the movement of the bandits with their victims from Ardokola to Yoro and then deployed its men in Apawa village of Yoro local government area to the area and trailed the armed group. It added that the troops displayed determination engaging the criminals with superior firepower, which forced the bandits to abandon 3 abducted victims. Also, the Taraba State Command of the Nigerian Police Force recently paraded 17 criminal suspects along with confiscated exhibits showcasing operational breakthroughs achieved under the command's policing strategies. The parade took place at the Taraba State Police Headquarters in Jalingo, conducted by the Police Commissioner of Taraba State. In response to the rising incidents of banditry, kidnapping, armed robbery, cattle rustling and culpable homicide causing disruptions in the state, the Police Commissioner, CP Joseph Ebori, highlighted the command's commitment to addressing these security challenges in the state. Here's the report.
The growing insecurity in Taraba State has adversely impacted agricultural production and various businesses due to kidnappings and other criminal activities. The police command in the state has mobilized its operational assets, including both human and material resources, to effectively combat the evolving trends of crime and criminal activities in the state. One notable success was the arrests of a suspected kidnapping syndicate operating in Jaurogana and CBN areas. The joint efforts of the anti-kidnapping unit and collaboration with local hunters led to the apprehension of the suspects.
The command has been persistent in its effort to sustain a serious manhunt on the bandits and other perpetrators of various crimes within the state. In view to having a crime-free society where law-abiding citizens would be allowed to go about their lawful businesses without fear or being molested or intimidated by the menace of this criminal in the state. This has been in line with the directive of the Inspector General of Police.
The suspects confessed to their involvement in multiple kidnapping incidents in the Jarogana and CBN areas, and the police recovered AK-47 rifles with ammunition. The command made significant arrests, including the leader of a notorious kidnapping gang in Mehula town, Bali local government area, and other kidnappers in Guampa village, Yoro local government area. Arrests were also made in Yorozing and Lao local government areas. The suspects have admitted to leading the syndicate involved in the abduction of the second-class chief of Kwanji in Pupule, Yoro local government area, and a pastor.
I am 20 years old and single without a child. I don't know what I did, neither did they ask us what we did. They just arrested us, brought us here, and started beating us. So you are saying that they just brought you here for no reason. But earlier you confessed to kidnapping the chief. If I show you a clip of you admitting to have committed the crime, will you accept? I am a 35-year-old married man with children. I graze cattle and also farm. The police arrested me with money that belongs to my friend who I parted with in the car when we were stopped by the police at Bantaje. The money belongs to Alhaji Umar, but my friend stole the money and gave me to keep. I'm very sure that he stole the money from his boss.
In total, 27 suspects encompassing kidnappers, bandits, thieves and armed robbers were paraded during the event. Among them were criminals involved in car snatchings and other unlawful activities. The police commissioner commended the collaborative efforts of security agencies and stakeholders, acknowledging their support in the successful apprehension of numerous criminals in the state.
Meanwhile, the Nigerian Customs Service has arrested one Abdurrahman Ibrahim for his involvement in other activities, including fraudulent activities and impersonation of the Controller General of Customs and other high-ranking government officials. This was disclosed in a statement posted on the official X handle of the NCS on Wednesday. According to the statement by the NCS spokesperson, CSC Abdullahi Mewada, the suspect's arrest was made possible through intelligence gathered by the Customs Police Unit. The statement added that Ibrahim confessed to his involvement in the fraudulent act and mentioned accomplices in the operation, which prompted further investigation to arrest and prosecute his accomplices. The suspect was found in possession of counterfeit documents, including fake customs and NSCDC appointment letters and forged introduction letters purportedly signed by high-ranking government officials, among others. And the Supreme Court on Wednesday upheld the election of Adamu Fintiri as the duly elected governor of Adamawa State. The court also dismissed the appeal by the All Progressives Congress, APC, and its governorship candidate, Aisha Dahiru, popularly known as Binani, against for lacking in merit. The appellant, through their team of lawyers led by Akiolu Olujimi, SAN, prayed the court to nullify the declaration of Fintiri of the People's Democratic Party as a validly elected winner of the gubernatorial contest. They urged the Supreme Court to set aside the concurrent verdict of the Court of Appeal and the Adamawa State Governorship Election Petitions Tribunal, which dismissed their case and upheld Fintiri's re-election. However, Fintiri, through his lawyer, Damian Dodo, SAN, urged the Apex Court to dismiss the appeal and validate his election victory.
Leadership in this country must carefully select the people to be entrusted with the sublime responsibility of manifesting the democratic will of the people into election results. I think this is an exhortation that all of us must take seriously. The executive, the legislature, the nation, the citizens. We must rise up to the responsibility to enrich and deepen our democracy so that the result of the election is the actual and accurate reflection of the will of the people.
Above all, to my people in the state that have stood firm with me throughout this trial time, I'm grateful for them. And to my entire well-wishers across the country, this victory will only spur us more to do better for our state. We will continue to ensure that only the best is delivered to our people. And I call on every citizen of the state to join me in building the greater Adamawa state.
Elsewhere, the household of David Church, located along Surulere Industrial Road off Adeniyi Jones in Ikeja area of Lagos, was on Wednesday razed by fire. Though the fire had been successfully put out by the emergency workers from both federal and state agencies, it had already destroyed church property worth millions of naira. Thankfully, no life was lost during the fire outbreak, but some church workers allegedly sustained injuries while trying to put out the fire. It was learned that the fire, which started in the early hours of Wednesday from the back of the church, was not noticed by the church workers until some passers-by drew their attention to it. The church was said to have organized a 5-day crusade, which ought to have ended on February 4th, 2024. The territorial coordinator of the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, in the Southwest region, Ibrahim Farinloye, who confirmed the incident, said the premises, which is under lease, was hired by the church.
So you can go to the problem and show the
Well, there you have it, what's left of the David Church after the fire outbreak. Meanwhile, at least one person died and several shops burned to the ground following a fire outbreak at Gusau Central Market, Zamfara State. The incident occurred at the furniture section of the market around 11 p.m. on Tuesday, when owners of the shops had closed for the day. Furniture and other goods worth millions of naira had been destroyed by the inferno before it was contained by firefighters. Confirming the incident, the director of the State Fire Service Department, Abdullahi Dauran, said one person died during the incident. Dauran added that the cause of the fire and the quantum of the damage were not yet ascertained by the service. You're watching the news update on Trust TV. Coming up shortly. House orders fire service to refund 1.4 billion naira unused funds. This and of course many other stories after the break. Stay with us. Thanks for staying with Trust TV, watching the news update at this hour. Here's a recap of our major stories. EFCC uncovers connection between religious sect laundering money for terrorists. Also, Supreme Court affirms Fintiri's election as Adamawa governor. Moving on to more stories now, Delta State Governor Sheriff Oberewori has suspended the Commissioner for Agriculture and Natural Resources, Omon Perez, with immediate effect. Oberewori also asked the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Agriculture, Bennett Agama, Assistant Director, Agricultural Engineering, Oki Yintarike, and Chief Accountant Gabriel Idiata Cheku to embark on compulsory leave. This was disclosed in a statement on Wednesday by the press unit of the Delta Government House. Perez's suspension, according to the statement, did ID to investigate claims of perceived infractions related to the management of a scheme by the ministry. The governor also set up a 7-man committee headed by the secretary to the state government, Kingsley Emu, to probe allegations leveled against the government officials. Also, the House of Representatives on Wednesday ordered the Federal Fire Service to refund over 1.48 billion naira to the Consolidated Revenue Fund within the next 7 days. Chairman, House Committee on Public Accounts, Bamidele Salami, gave the order during its resumed hearing probing COVID-19 intervention in Abuja. He said the accounting officer of the fire service should refund the said monies following its refusal to honor for the 4th time invitations from the committee to explain the spending of the COVID-19 fund. Members of the committee expressed concerns that the fire service may be taking the Constitutional Committee for granted. Meanwhile, the committee has given the Nigerian Center for Disease Control and Prevention, NCDC, Accountants General's Office and Ministry of Agriculture the final invitation to appear before it to explain the utilization of the COVID-19 funds they received.
So the full surcharge is what this motion seeks to accomplish. If they got 1,484,000,000 and they have been given opportunities to come and explain how the money was spent on 3 different occasions, not even a letter from the Federal Fire Service, no submission of documents on 3 consecutive times. So I want to put the question: Those in favor of this motion that the Federal Fire Service refund a sum of 1,484,903,760 naira to the Federation account. You say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. By this motion, moved and carried, the accounting officer of the Federal Fire Service of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is hereby ordered to refund the monies released as COVID intervention fund in 2020-2021, 1.4 billion naira to the Federation account within 7 days and provide evidence of such refund to the Public Account Committee.
And the federal government, through the National Identity Management Commission, has announced the distribution of more computer systems to boost enrollment for the National Identification Number. The head of Corporate Communications, NIMC, Kayode Adegoke, in a statement on Wednesday, said the head of NIMC, Abisoye Odusote Koka, approved the distribution of additional enrollment systems to all the states. She noted that the nationwide distribution system is part of the steps to ease NIN enrollment challenges and increase operational capacity. Odusote Koka, according to the statement, emphasized that her administration will not condone extortion of applicants and has since directed that any staff found wanting be dealt with in line with the provisions of the Constitution and extant public service rules. And in business, the International Monetary Fund, IMF, says global growth is projected at 3.1% in 2024 and 3.2% in 2025. This is according to the IMF's latest World Economic Outlook update report from January 2024, titled Moderating Inflation and Steady Growth, Open Path to Soft Landing, and released on Tuesday in South Africa. The report said the 2024 forecast was 0.2 percentage points higher than the October projections of the 2023 WEO. It said this was on account of greater than expected resilience in the United States and several large emerging markets and developing economies, as well as fiscal support in China. The report showed growth in sub-Saharan Africa was projected at 3.8 in 2024 and 4.1 in 2025. It revealed that economic growth in Nigeria is projected at 3.0 in 2024 and 3.1% in 2025. It said global headline inflation was expected to fall to 5.8% in 2024 and to 4.4% in 2025, with the 2025 forecast revised down. The news update continues after this break. Stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. And on the phone scene now, President of Liberia, Joseph Boakai, has stated that, contrary to belief, his administration did not inherit $40 million from his predecessor. President Joseph Boakai, who was sworn in on January 22nd, said on Monday that the balance recorded was $20.5 million, not $40 million as former President George Weah had claimed. Liberian media reported on Wednesday that the Senate ordered the central bank to clarify contradictions between President Boakai and his predecessor. According to the report, the Senate mandated its joint committees on public accounts and audit, banking and currency to invite the leadership of the Central Bank of Liberia. President Boakai, pledging to tackle corruption, said he will audit and make sure that regular audits become the norm in all branches of government, not just the executive. Shortly after losing the presidential election last November, George Weah reportedly told an audience at his congregation that he expects Boakai not to pursue officials from his administration, just as he did not pursue or prosecute anyone from the First Unity Party government when Boakai served as vice president. And to sports news, the Nigerian Women's Football League, NWFL, has adjusted the commencement date for the second stanza of the 2023-24 season. The resumption date was initially set for Wednesday, January 31st, 2024, but will now kick off on Wednesday, February 14th, 2024. The NWFL Chief Operating Officer, Modupe Shabi, disclosed this in a memo sent to clubs. Shabi said the adjustment was carefully deliberated by the league's leadership, including board members and diligent staff. She also apologized for any potential implications for team preparations and schedules. Shabi added that the NWFL remains steadfast in its commitment to upholding the principle and pinnacle of excellence in women's football and ensuring the success of the Premiership season. Heartland Queens and Rivers Angels topped the NWFL Group A and B table after the end of the first stanza. And that wraps up the news update at this hour. Do not follow us across all of our social platforms and also our live stream on YouTube for more news, programs and documentaries. I'm Sakir Ibrahim. Thanks for watching.